Strafe tracking is an aiming skill you need in Apex Legends, not only to win your 1v1s, but also to do so in the most clutch situations. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 tips that I personally used to accelerate my improvement when I was switching from controller to mouse and keyboard. Now don't worry, these tips are completely applicable on both inputs, and if you stick around long enough, the last tip I have will actually help you find your own personal mistakes that could possibly be hindering not just your strafe tracking, but your gameplay overall. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. The first tip and the first thing you should be doing before any gaming session is to warm up. Now I'm not talking about your in-game warm up. What I am talking about is physically warming up, specifically in the form of stretching. You see, whether you play on controller or mouse and keyboard, you are incorporating numerous muscles and tendons in your hands and forearm. And if you look at athletes or bodybuilders or virtually anybody who's physically active, stretching is a crucial preliminary step before doing any strenuous exercise. And the reason why I strongly believe that the same principle should be practiced in gaming is because it eliminates tension and stiffness. And these two are notorious culprits in preventing players from achieving those smooth reticle adjustments you need in strafe tracking, and it could be negatively affecting your aim without you even knowing it. Now there are plenty of videos online that show the best stretches specifically for gamers, and I highly suggest you research and find the ones that work for you in your own free time. Tip number 2 is to practice on the dummies in the firing range. Now this video is about how to improve your strafe tracking in Apex Season 16, and one of the amazing features that came with the launch of this season is the ability to customize the movement of the dummies. Now if you didn't know how to access these features, all you have to do is hold the button or keybind next to Customize Range on the top right of your screen.
Well, duh.
And then you'll see there are plenty of options you can experiment with that'll suit your needs. In terms of gun choice, I usually use an R99 with a blue or white magazine in this exercise, but you can use whatever you're comfortable with. Now before I start actually shooting the dummy, I warm up a bit by just trying to keep my reticle on the dummy as best as I can, and then once my accuracy is consistent, then I'll move on to actually shooting the target. And usually this is the method I'll use to gauge how much time I invest in any exercise where I'm refining a particular aspect of my aim, whether that be trying to learn the recoil patterns on a gun, or practicing my flicks, or in this case strafe tracking. I'll keep doing it until I'm confident in my results. But of course you never want to spend too much time lingering in the firing range, so as long as you do this in moderation in your warm-up routine, you should have nothing to worry about. My third tip is to simplify your strafe. Now I know making your strafe as unpredictable as possible can be beneficial at times, but it's completely futile if you do it so much to where it starts to diminish your accuracy. When it comes down to it, all the super glides, tap strafes, and most radical movement in the world will never compensate for bad aim.
This is not okay.
So what I suggest is to limit yourself to just a simple left and right strafe, which will allow you to completely focus and hone in on the target so you can perfect your strafe tracking. And once you're confident and your aim becomes more consistent, then you can start mixing up your strafe more often. Tip number 4 is to look at the target, not the reticle. I mean, there shouldn't even be a debate between these two. Trying to track your enemy's strafe can seem super chaotic and daunting at first, but if you really look, and I mean really focus on your target, you'll be able to actually recognize the way they're moving, and it won't seem as random. When you study your enemy's movement and do this consistently with every 1v1 encounter, it will become so much easier to react to, as well as allow you to discern patterns in their strafe that you can capitalize on. And the 5th and final tip I have to share with you guys has significantly improved not just my strafe tracking, but my gameplay entirely. And that tip is to watch your own gameplay. All the advice I just gave you right now is universal, so it may not solve your own specific mistakes you could possibly be making that only you can recognize by implementing this tip. And let's face it, when we're in the moment and in the heat of the competition, we get emotional or angry and will blame factors that are outside our control. And all of this blinds our judgment, which in turn can provoke us to overlook our own mistakes. And so when you're watching your gameplay, it's like you're mentally reset and have a much more neutral and objective perception on your weaknesses. And these unbiased self-evaluations will help to reveal your most prominent mistakes and what you're doing wrong so that you can become aware of it and ultimately work on eliminating them. And that will wrap up my 5 tips to improve your strafe tracking aim this season in Apex Legends. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. I appreciate any support towards the channel, but it's completely up to you and it's your decision. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. This is Dex signing off.